Hello and welcome to St. Andrew Institute of Technology and Management, Gurgaon. This is online lecture series. I am Rohit Raj from Civil Engineering Department. We are discussing geomatics and aerial surveying, which is included in your fourth semester. This is sixth lecture of this course, and today we'll start with new unit, that is error and its computation in surveying. Okay. You can also name that it is adjustments in adjustment in surveying and its computations. Okay. So the very first topic in this unit is types of error, and we'll see today what are different types of error. Okay. So error of measurements are of three kinds. First is mistake, second is systematic errors, and third one is accidental errors. Okay. So first we'll see what is mistake. Mistakes are the error that arises from the inexperiences or carelessness or inattentions. Okay. Means if suppose if we are observing some values, okay, whether it is distance or it is some angle values, and we are not focused to that. Okay, suppose we are having attention to some other thing, then we may have mistakes. Okay, then we'll either will read wrong at readings values, or will not notice the exact values. Okay, or will miss some readings also. So these types of errors are mistakes that is due to inattention, inexperiences. Suppose we do not have experience using vernier scales. Okay, so have we might face some errors due to inexperiences or carelessness. Suppose we don't want to have that much accuracy, or we are just being careless and we do not recorded the last values. So this type of errors are mistakes and poor judgments or confusion in the mind of the observer. Sometimes some error may arise due to the confusions. Okay, and what kind of confusions? uh, for example, just try to remember the uh, method for of reading in suppose theodolite. We have to choose the best line coinciding for the vernier scale. Okay, so there may be situation that in our mind that we should will see that, oh, okay, so this line is uh, coinciding, but sometimes we may get confused that which line is actually coinciding or which line is more straight. So there, this kind of error arises that we say as mistakes. Okay. So you have to keep this in mind. That is, these errors are due to inattention, inexperiences, carelessness, and confusion in the mind of observer. Okay. So if mistake is undetected, it produces a serious effect on the final results. Yes, of course, if mistakes is undetected, then it will produce its adverse effects on the results. And hence, every value to be recorded in the field must be checked by some independent field observations. Okay, means you should be focused. There must be some experienced persons. You should be well aware of the situations and avoid carelessness. Now, second is systematic errors. A systematic error is an error that under the same condition will always be of same size and sign. Means the error which will repeat its values and along with its sign. Means if the error is of 10 minutes or 30 seconds, okay, so it will be of always of 30 seconds or 10 centimeter or 10 mm with same values. It will be always additive or subtractive. So we'll see an example, a systematic error that follows a definite mathematical or physical law. Correction can be determined and applied. For such errors, suppose we have a tape whose length is 30 mm too short. Means the tape is already short. So if we are measuring any distance using that tape, the distance will be uh, longer. Okay, the distance will be longer or higher of higher values measured. Okay, and then it is actually. So we'll apply corrections here. We can apply corrections for these kind of errors that repeat itself with size and sign. Okay, such errors of constant character are regarded as a positive or negative according as they make the results too great or too small. In the previous example that I told you, if the tape is too short, the result is too long. Okay, so we'll apply correction accordingly. If the result is too long, then we'll subtract, we'll have negative corrections. So this is how we correct them. Okay, therefore, these errors are cumulative, and if undetected, the systematic errors are very serious. Therefore, we have corrections for them. All the surveying equipments are designed and used so that whenever possible, systematic errors will be automatically eliminated. Okay, all the systematic errors cannot be surely eliminated by this means, must be evaluated and their relationship to the condition that causes them must be determined. Okay, so whenever we are designing any surveying equipment, then we check for the systematic errors, whether it is there or not. But apart from these checks, still there are some systematic errors and we need to correct them. Okay, so we need to identify and correct them. For example, in ordinary leveling, the leveling instrument must first be adjusted so the line of sight is nearly horizontal. So we have to first adjust the leveling instrument so that line of sight must be horizontal as possible when the bubble is at center. And also for the horizontal lens for back sight and far sight, each instrument position should be kept nearly equal as possible. And for the back sight and foresight readings, we must place the instruments in between both of them. So the distance for the foresight and backside should be equal as much as possible. Okay, so these are the uh, methods we use to avoid the different types of systematic errors. Now, third error is accidental error. Accidental errors are those which remain after mistakes and systematic errors have been eliminated. Okay, accidental errors are those errors which remain after mistakes and systematic errors have been removed. Means we have correction for mistakes, we have applied correction for systematic errors. Still, there are some errors that remain, and these errors are accidental errors. Now, they tend sometimes in one direction and sometimes in other. They are equally likely to make apparent results too large or too small. So there is no hard and fast rule to find the values or signs of these error. Okay, they might be sometimes uh, creating effect on the results, additive or subtractive. So it is difficult to identify the trend. Accidental errors of a single determination is the difference between the true value of the quantity, and determination is free from mistakes and systematic errors. Accidental errors Means suppose we have already removed the systematic errors and mistakes. Apart from that difference, if there is still some difference between the observed value and true value, then there arises situation of accidental error. Accidental error represents limit of precision. Okay, that means how accurate we are doing that. They obey the law on chances. Okay, so there are several theories. Okay, and most common is the theory of errors that we shall discuss in this chapter. Okay, now the law of accidental errors. Okay, so investigation of observations of various types of source that accidental errors follow a definite law. Means different observations shows that accidental errors follow a definite law of probability, that is law of probability. Okay, this law defines the occurrence of error can be experienced in the form of equations. Okay, means they can be generalized in a form of equation that is used to compute the probable value or probable precision of quantity. The most important feature of accidental errors are: first, small errors tend to be more frequent than large ones. Okay, so they are the most probable ones. Okay, means there is more possibility of small errors in compared to the large one. Therefore, they are the most probable. Okay, positive and negative errors of same size happen with equal frequency. That is, they are equally probable. Means there is say same possibility of having additive or subtractive errors. Okay, means that they leads to sometimes too large or too short to the observations. Okay, there is equal chances of happening both of them. Large errors occur infrequently and are impossible. Okay, so very large error or large errors are less frequent and they are basically impossible. Okay, now principle of least square. What is least square? It is found that the probability of equation of most probable values of a series error arising from observations of equal weight are those for which sum of squares is minimum. Means sum of squares is minimum for the observations whose weights are higher. What are weights? First we'll see what are weights. Basically, when we are having some observation in field and side, the values that repeat itself, okay, that has a weight. Suppose the value is repeated twice, then its weight is 2. Suppose it comes only once, then its weight is 1. So according to the, where we were studying that, according to the probability equation, a series of errors arising from observations are proportional to their weights. Okay, means if the reading has higher weights, then the probability of error in that observation is less. Okay, now we are well aware of weights also. And what is law of weights? Weights of a arithmetic mean of the measurements of unit weight is equal to the number of observations. Basically, weights are the number of observation that repeat itself. Okay, we'll see with an examples. Okay, till now what we have studied, we are studying theory of errors. Okay, that contains introduction, types of error, definition, law of accidental errors, law of weights, theory of least square will start after this, and determination of probable errors. Now, a typical survey measurements may involve operation like centering, pointing, setting, reading, and due to some human limitations, imperfection, and instrument environment or change or carelessness can produce these errors. We have studied this earlier. Now theory, the types of error, how they behave, how they adjust, precision and accuracy. Okay, errors, probability distribution. We'll now start this. Okay, we have studied already that what are mistakes. Okay, also we have studied systematic errors. Okay, and we were studying before this that are accidental errors. Okay, they do not follow any specific law and may be positive and may be negative. Now some let's see few definition. That is direct observation. A direct observation is made directly on the quantity that is being determined. For example, distance between 2 points is 45.62, which is measured with tape in the field. This is direct observation. And what is indirect observation? Value of a quantity derived indirectly from direct observations. Like suppose we have measured this value that we have studied in our previous course, that is triangulation. We use length of baseline to determine the length of other side. That other side determined is indirect observation. Similarly, like the value of an angle triangulation station found from the value of angle measured at satellite station. This is another example where we find the value of angle at triangulation station found from the value of measured at satellite station. Means using one value we find the other value, that is indirect observation. Okay, now conditioned quantity. If the value of observed quantity depends on the value of other quantity, it is called conditioned quantity. Suppose we are in between of triangulation, and suppose we have measured two angles, that is 30° and 60°. So it is obvious the third angle of triangle will be 90°. If suppose there is some error in that observation, then it arises on less than 90° or more than 90°, and we are will be aware of that the our reading or our observation is wrong. So the third angle is dependent, okay, or conditioned on the first two values. For example, a plus b plus c is equals to 180° in a triangle ABC. True value of a quantity. True value of a quantity is a value which is absolutely free from all errors. Okay, means that is free from mistake, that is free from accidental error, that is free from systematic errors, all errors. Okay, and it may be classified as independent quantity and dependent quantity. We'll be using these terms frequently. What are independent quantities and what are dependent quantities? Basically, a quantity whose value is not affected by any other observations or any other readings, that is independent, and any quantity which is affected by other values, that is dependent quantity. Now we'll see MPV, that is most probable value. Okay, what is that? Basically, most probable value of a quantity is the value which has more chances of being true. Okay, means uh, which has the highest probability of occurring. Okay, most probable value of a quantity is the value which has more chances of being true than any other value. It can be found when the quantity is measured a number of times. Okay, and we can calculate only most probable value when we have number of observations. Okay, for the same data or same set of length or angle. Okay, so there only we can find the most probable value. Suppose we have a single observation there, it is of no use to find out most probable value. Now what is true error? The difference between observed value of a quantity and its true value. Okay, we already know what is true value. The value which is free from any error, that is whether it is systematic, whether it is accidental, or whether it is mistake. If a value is free from all of them, that is all the three errors, then that is true value. And what is true error? The difference between observed value of a quantity and its true value. Suppose true value is 10 meter and we are getting 10.5 meter. Okay, so the true error will be 10.5 subtracted from 10, because here we are reading this again and again, that difference between observed value of quantity and its true value is the true error. What is residual error? The difference between the observed value and value of a quantity. Okay, so difference between observed value of a quantity and its most probable value. Okay, you have to keep this in mind, that what is residual error and what is true error. True error is difference between observed value and true value, whereas residual error is difference between observed value and most probable value. We already know that what is most probable value. Okay, so now we are well aware with the terms that will be used in this unit frequently. Okay, we'll now learn how to find the different errors and different types of most probable values. Okay, so let's see with an example. We'll see. First, see the statistical formulas for finding the probable value of a error in single observation. Okay, that is E. We have a single observation. Okay, means we have a value of a single quantity. Okay, in several observations. Okay, so we'll find out the probable angle using this relation, where E is the probable error of single observation, which can be calculated using the relation E is equals to plus minus. Here it may be positive or it may be negative. Okay, so E is equals to plus minus 0.6745 multiplied with under root summation V square divided by n minus 1, where what is V? V is the difference between the observed value or measured value and mean value. Okay, so this can be calculated for a series of a number of readings. Suppose we have 10 readings, then we can easily calculate the mean by adding all of the readings, all the 10 readings, and then dividing it with 10. So we can easily find the mean values, and once we are with the mean value, then we can find the V or nu, you can say V this. Okay, so we can find the difference between the mean value and the observed value for all single observations. Then what we'll do, we'll square them. Okay, what's benefit of squaring them? This will neutralize their signs. Okay, all will be positive after squaring, and once we have squared them, we'll add them. Okay, and we'll divide with the number of observations subtracted with 1. Suppose there are 10 observations. Okay, so we'll divide it with 9. Okay, so this is how we'll calculate this term. Okay, once we have calculated this term, then we'll multiply it with 0.6745. Okay, so this will give the probable error of single observation. Okay, this is how we'll find probable error of single observation. That will be calculated using the relation 0.6745 multiplied with under root summation v square divided by n minus 1. Okay, so we'll see examples on these formulas in the coming slides. Let's see all the formulas related and we'll solve numericals based on them. Okay, so second is probable error of mean. How do we calculate the probable error of mean? Okay, so for finding the probable error of the mean, we'll use the same relation, only one change, that is in previous equation we were only dividing with n minus 1. Here we add one extra term, that is n, and for remembering this you just keep this in mind, that what we do for calculating a mean, we add them and divide with the number of terms. So this term extra resembles the number of terms or number of readings, okay, or number of observation or number of measurements. So this is extra term for calculating the probable error of mean. That is, it will be calculated using the relation plus minus 0.6745 multiplied with under root summation v square, that will be calculated using the relation observed value minus mean value, okay, divided with n minus 1, where n is the number of measurements, and multiplied with the n, that is number of measurements, number of observations. Okay, so this will give us probable error of mean. Okay, now we'll see standard deviation. What is that? Standard deviation, we already know standard with deviation and variances in our previous readings. Okay, so what is that? Standard deviation can be calculated using the relation, that is plus minus, that is plus minus, that is plus minus v square divided by n minus 1, means only this portion. Okay, this portion in the probable error of single observation. Okay, this is our standard deviation. We already know this. Okay, we have studied everywhere this equation. Okay, for the procedure for calculating standard deviation, it's same in everywhere, whether you are calculating this in hydrology or irrigation or maths also, or you are reading this in your uh, any other subjects, like we have uh, advanced maths, that is numerical methods. Okay, there also you'll find the same formula for standard deviation, that is summation of v square divided by n minus 1. And why always there plus minus? Because these deviation can be positive or negative both. Okay, so we'll calculate them using the relation. So till now we have seen three relations. First, we'll start with this C, that is standard deviation. We'll calculate using the relation, okay, summation v square divided by n minus 1. Then we'll calculate the probable error of single observation. We'll multiply the 0.6745 with the standard deviations. Then we'll get the probable error of single observation. Now for probable error of mean, we'll divide that equation with under root n. Okay, we'll divide this term with under root n, then we'll come to this equation. Okay, that is this. So we have three basic formulas. Okay, now another term is standard error. Okay, and what is that? Basically standard error is nothing but when we remove this term from the probable error of mean, then it will arise standard error. Okay, you just keep these two in mind. This will be helpful for you. Okay, You just keep this in mind. So till now we have seen what are errors, how different types of error arises. Now we have studied the statistical formulas with which we can find the probable error of single measurement or probable error of mean. Then we are aware with the standard deviation relations. Okay, then again we are aware with standard errors. Now in our next lecture we'll try to solve problems using these statistical formulas. Okay, so till then, thank you for listening. Feel free to ask any doubt. You can text, WhatsApp or email. Okay, for this is my phone number and this is my mail ID. You can contact any way you like. Thank you.